What is your American dream?
My American dream is one day opening my Fifth Avenue crafts couture shop, classy men and women stuff. The first African-inspired clothes and accessories on Fifth Avenue. Right in front of Trump Tower.
Successful and free, you know? Yeah, it's all about being successful.
My American dream is to be one of the best known chef there is. Yeah, that's where I want to be now. I want to be known.
And to be the best I can be.
My dream is to be with my family and be able to take care of my family the best way I possibly can. I've had 2 more children since I've come here, and being in the United States has its benefits for my children.
Everyone has a right to the American dream.
Groundhog Sam! I'm a little hungry. Oh, what is this? Wow, I've hit the jackpot. Oh, I've hit the mother load. I don't want anyone to see this. Oh, there's so much money. Oh, look, it's a quarter. I'm gonna get it. Ah! What the heck is this? Hey! Hey! What are you? What are you doing? Who are you? What are you taking my money? Who the heck are you? Ah! Who the frick are you?
Sam, what's going on in here?
Belgium kid, Belgium, there's some bizarro little thing in this box. It took my quarters. I was busy collecting all these quarters to go buy pretzels because I'm hungry and there were quarters here. And I picked it up and this thing, and it's just taking my quarters. I'm really annoyed. Ah!
The panda, Sam, and he's a little saver of money. It's a little piggy bank, but it's a panda bank.
What's a piggy bank?
It's where you save all your money so you can buy all the pretzels at once instead of spending it a little bit at a time. Look, this is a nickel. Now push on that little button. Yeah, there he is, here he comes. And now he saved your nickel for you.
But how do I get it?
Twist it and boom, money! Money, pretzel funds! Or now we call it panda food.
No, it's groundhog food. We should be called a groundhog bank. I don't understand piggy bank. If it's a piggy bank, why is there a panda bear in this? I'm very confused. I like the fact that there's money. So Kim, does this mean we could go get some pretzels together?
Yes, it does. Are you ready?
Oh, you know I'm always ready for pretzels, Kimmy. Let's go. Oh, wait. Woo. Oh, wait, 1 second.
What?
I gotta intro the show.
Oh, yeah. Do that, and then we'll go get pretzels.
Okay, all right, stay here.
Okay, we'll do it. Yeah.
All right, panda. Anyway, did you miss yesterday's episode of Bradshaw Live? Well, in case you did, Jonathan went out on the street and tested people's knowledge of superstitions from all around the world and where they come from. And the thing we learned the most is never clip your nails at night. That's a no-no. And now is the time that you've all been waiting for. It's time for Bradshaw Live, starring Brad Bernstein with co-host Belgium Kim and Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias. Enjoy! Okay, Kimmy, let's go. Yay! All right, Panda, we'll see you later.
Bye, Panda.
Come on.
Hello, everybody. It is Thursday, June 27th. My name is Brad Bernstein. The beautiful lady next to me's name is Kim Moore. And the handsome gentleman all the way to the right is Jonathan Elias.
Woo!
Yeah.
What an intro!
AKA Uncle Brad, Belgium Kim, and Yo-Yo.
There
There you go.
go.
And we have to say hello to Paula Charles, Marge Higgs, Carol the Tiger, Mia Montauk, Felix, Sonia Sharp. How are you? Shio Doman.
Shio Doman.
I thought Shio Doman. Shio's Doman.
We've never said Damon in the years that Shio has been a fan of our show.
Shio Damon.
Shio Damon.
I think that's what it is. He's
Is that
Damon.
like
Shio's Damon.
is that like Jamaican accent?
No,
Shio's Damon?
that's just
Shio
my
Damon.
Long Island, New York accent.
Shio Damon.
Vanny Boo Nisbeth wants to know how long it's going to take for a permanent resident spouse to get their work permit. You're going to have to wait about 45 minutes for that answer. But I've got that answer. Just keep watching.
There you go.
Sandra Salinas all the way out from California. Angela Barrett, Leonora Smith saying hello. First Lady Hewitt. And Sweetex Thirtist. Sweetex.
Sweetex.
Sweetex Thirtist.
Sweetex Thirtix.
Sweetex Thirtist. Sweetex Thirtist.
Or the artist?
Right.
Sweetex the
X
artist.
Y'all. I literally just scrolled. I was entertaining our YouTube
you're
fam.
right. Sweetex the artist. Also known as Thirdist.
Thirdist. I think Thirdist is better.
I like it better. Sweetex Thirdist. Hi, Brad. Good evening. That's really funny. I actually read it as Thirdist. I did not read it as the artist. People think I was like thinking I was trying to be funny. No, I really read it as Thirdist. Hi, Brad. Good evening. The artist has a question also. We'll get back to you shortly.
Thirdist does.
And she's saying, no, Brad, it's not Thirdist. Dwayne Bryan, how are you? Allison Evans, Marlene Rossi, Danny Contreras, all on YouTube. Ja Love, Tally, Julie Gibson says hi from Woodstock, Georgia.
Ooh, there's a Woodstock, Georgia?
I know there's a Woodstock, New York.
Right.
I know how much wood a wood could stock if a woodchuck could stock wood.
Is that where the Woodstock festival
No, that was upstate New York. That was upstate New York.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was in New York.
Yeah, it was in New York, upstate New York. Tally, Carol, the Top Cat, Carlton, James says hi, Brad and squad. Princess Black, Jamila Russell saying hello, and 5-Star Chick says hi. Crystal G says thanks. And Baburo Apti has a question. You will also have to wait 45 minutes. But you know what I do have here? You want to know something about Leonora Smith Brown? I've got a whole card about Leonora Smith Brown because Leonora is in the Brad Squad spotlight today. She is from Kingston, Jamaica. She now lives in Miami, Florida. There she is, the beautiful Leonora. She's married to a U.S. citizen, but she's unable to work because she still hasn't gotten a work permit yet, even though she's filed in November. They're up to October, the last week of October, so in a couple weeks, we're going to lose Leonora because she's going to get a work permit.
She's going to start working.
She's going to start working. We're going to lose her. But in the meantime, we got her. She's a chef. She's a chef, and she's from Jamaica, so that means she knows how to cook.
She knows how to cook.
We learned that
look
already,
at that.
right?
Look at that
and
food.
Some of her you know what her favorite hobby is? Cooking delicious food.
Yeah.
That is her favorite hobby, cooking
Some
delicious food.
oxtail, some rice and peas.
But she's a workaholic, so she's waiting on that work permit, and then she's gonna say bye to the squad, and she's gonna be working.
No.
She's gonna be sweating over that stove, cooking, and if she's not on her feet and doing something, because this woman, she has not been diagnosed with ADD, but apparently she's describing ADD because she says if she's not doing something all the time, she's very sad. She's got to be on the move.
That's right.
She's got to be on the move.
Okay, queen.
But I'm going to tell you something. I'm ADD myself. It's a good thing, not a bad thing.
Not surprised.
All right? You lets you do 100 things all at the same time.
Right.
Like read, talk, conduct a television show, hang out with you.
Hang out.
Right.
Show.
See what's going on.
We can do all the things simultaneously, Brad.
I can. Now, she finds the Brad Show Live on Facebook. I don't know how she found it, if somebody shared this with her. I don't know. But she finds it very interesting and educational. And that, folks, is our Brad Squad member, not the Brad Squatter.
No.
Not the squattee.
No.
Because she's not a cop.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
But the Brad Squad member, Leonora Smith Brown. Thank you for sharing your life with us. We get to know her a little better. And Belgium Kim and Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias. I don't know if this is a joke or not. I don't know why this is on my card today, but I have the immigrant of the day.
Ooh.
And the immigrant of the day is none other than the smartest man to live in the last 200 years, Albert Einstein.
Yes.
People claim he is the smartest man to live. He was originally a German mathematician and a physicist. He actually didn't speak a word until he was about 4.5 years old. His teachers thought he was actually something mentally deficient with him. Yeah, I don't know if you know that
Negative.
or not.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
And he did not do well in elementary school.
Really?
They thought he was an unremarkable man.
What do you think it was? He was just bored?
He was bored stiff.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of ADD.
Yeah.
He was born in 1879. His father was a salesman and an engineer who started a Munich-based company that manufactured electrical equipment. Albert's mother, her name was Pauline Koch, and she ran the family household. Koch, like Mayor Edward Koch from New York City. It's spelled the same way. I wonder if they're related.
I wonder.
In 1921, he won the Nobel Prize for Physics for his explanation of the photoelectric effect as to his theory of relativity, E equals mc squared.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Everybody knows E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass to the second degree. Right?
I never knew what
energy
it
equals
stood for.
equals MC. I don't know what C is. What's the
C
C?
is,
It's a constant. C is Coolio, or a constant.
It's definitely not cool.
C is for the speed of light.
Oh, okay.
Jill was telling me it's Coolio. Energy equals Coolio times his mass squared.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
I don't think it does.
All right, which shows if you really want to learn about physics, you're watching the wrong show.
Right,
here,
100%.
His work also had a major impact on the development of atomic energy. It led to the development of the atomic bomb, nuclear reactors. In 1933, Einstein took on a position at the Institute for Advanced Study at Princeton, New Jersey. At that time, the Nazis, led by Adolf Hitler, were gaining prominence with violent propaganda, and it influenced him and other scientists who were labeled Jewish physicists by the Nazis to leave before the Holocaust. Had he not left, the world would have never had Albert Einstein. Who knows who the world missed as a result. But he would have been dead in about 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
Jewish citizens were barred from, by 1933, if you were Jewish, you couldn't work in a university, you couldn't work in a government job, and he would have ultimately been killed within a few years. So after moving, he got out of Germany, and after moving, Einstein never went back to Germany ever again in his life. It was at Princeton that Einstein would spend the rest of his life working on the unified field theory, an all-embracing paradigm meant to unify the varied laws of physics. That is way beyond my comprehension. If I said that 10 times, I still wouldn't understand what I was saying.
I gotta be honest, Brad, I tried to Google it and offer more of an explanation, and I couldn't even understand
figure
the
it out,
explanations.
right. In 1935, he was granted his green card in the United States. He became a U.S. citizen shortly thereafter. During World War II, he worked on the Navy weapon systems and made big monetary donations to the military by auctioning off his manuscripts, which were worth millions of dollars. He auctioned off all his manuscripts and donated to the U.S. military effort against the Nazis in World War II. He published more than 300 scientific papers, more than 150 non-scientific works, and after his death in 1955, his brain was kept for further study and is now located at the Princeton University Medical Center. And
his brain?
His brain.
Crazy.
Yes.
Was that his brain?
Yes, his brain. His brain will be studied indefinitely. I have been asked by the Bradshaw Live staff to have my brain kept in formaldehyde. God forbid anything happens to me. That maybe if they find a way we can revive the Bradshaw Live after I'm dead.
It's like that cryo freeze guy.
Julian says he's able to do it somehow.
Perfect.
He
Julian
says
is gonna do it?
Yes,
The
he can
ice
put
cream
it-
man.
He can put it in the head of Groundhog Sam, and we will have a puppet with my voice. He says he can do it all through the TriCaster.
That would be
And also, thank you to Jelly Bean for clearing up what E equals mc squared means. C is the speed of light. E is the energy
And
that
mass.
is displaced, and M is the mass.
Correct.
Matt,
Correct.
I think Brad's wrong. If you want to learn about physics, you're watching the right show.
Right.
still don't know what that means.
But basically, it's like, when is now? Now is when.
Right.
Wait, did that just happen? Well, it happened here, but it didn't happen there.
Boom. Neil
That's-
deGrasse Tyson.
That's Einstein's theory of relativity. It happened here, but it didn't happen there.
Where's there?
There is like 3,000 light years away. So like when you see something on the moon, where you see the sun, for example, and you're looking at the sun, what happened on the sun, you're looking at like from 8 minutes ago.
Right.
Because it takes that time, for the light to reach you.
Gotcha.
So if you see something from 3,000 light years away, that happened, what you're looking at is something that happened 10 million years ago or something.
Right. Why are you looking at me for confirmation?
So it's just hard to fathom all that, right? With that, Belgium Kid and Jonathan Yo-Yo Ellies, hold on to your seats, because if you think your mind's going to be blown by that, all right, you got to hear some immigration questions later that are going to blow your mind, and tell everybody how to share this with their friends and family.
Go for it.
All right, everybody. Everybody right now, first and foremost, we need you guys to click on the link that we're about to post right now in the comment section for you guys to join the Brad Squad group. And this is a big thing. This is something that we're really pushing, and we want you guys to push your friends and family to also click that link and also join the Brad Squad group, because what you get with that is you get an incentive. You get a lot of incentives actually, because you get the first 5 people that put in their questions. We will ask your questions during the social media breakdown or social media segment, and because remember, we don't get to every single social media question, so we have to make sure that you guys click that link, join the group, and then you'll get first dibs. First 5 people, we will say your questions or we'll ask your questions right away. And also, we'll definitely be putting some content on there that you will not see even on this page and on the YouTube page. You will only find that content on the Brad Squad page group. So you guys make sure you click that right now and you join it. Also, we definitely want you guys to share the Facebook page right now. Now I'm just talking to all my Facebookers. We want you guys to share this show right now. So in order to share it, just press that little arrow that says share, and share it to anybody's group, share it to the pages, share it to inbox. But most importantly, like we always say, we definitely want you guys to share it in the inbox. So just create a group of friends, family, anybody that you think might benefit from this show, share it to them right away in their inbox. And also, we definitely want you guys to start a watch party. I see some of my friends that have started the watch party already, because it sends a notification to me. See, even though I'm watching it, it still sends a notification to me. So when you start a watch party, it sends a little ding to all your friends saying, hey, come on in, watch the show with me. We can talk some crap, you know what I mean? Because it's going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about, and a lot of stuff that you'll be hearing. And then also come back to the Brad Squad and actually comment in our section as well, because we want you to put all your social media questions in there and also talk about anything that we're talking about. So make sure you like, love, sad face, wow face, happy face, whatever you're feeling, make sure you show it to us in the comment section and also under the video. And what are we going to be doing on YouTube, Kim?
On YouTube, the very first thing that you guys need to do is make sure that you have followed and subscribed to our channel. The way that you do that is you hit that subscribe button, fam. It's really not that hard, and it helps us out a whole lot, because that's how we know you love us. Also, make sure that you are hitting that share button. Family, just because it's YouTube, you think that means you can't share? Of course you can still share. Make sure to hit share, copy link, and send it to all of your friends and family, absolutely through WhatsApp messages, through tweets, through Instagram, DMs, through whatever GroupMe, Textra, whatever you use to get your points across in this technological day and age, fam. Send them a link that way. And also make sure to tell us everything you're thinking and feeling about the show and about all of the wonderful things we're going to be talking about in Schmoozing with Brad.
There it is. And by the way, before I start schmoozing, I'm getting some eye rolls from Angela Barrett, because she said I missed her 2 favorite girls on the show, Jessica Leamy, and so Jessica Leamy, squad up to Jessica Leamy and First Lady Hewitt. Okay, you can stop with the eye rolling now, Angela Barrett.
Right.
And by the way, the Supreme Court, they tossed the citizenship question.
Yes, I saw that.
They had two big Supreme Court decisions today, and actually they went opposite to what I thought was going to happen. The Supreme Court said that, and it was Justice Roberts who was the swing vote in both.
Of course.
Okay, and he is now the new center from Kennedy.
Right.
And they said for the census that the Commerce Secretary, Wilbur Ross, gave an explanation of why they needed to put the citizenship question on the census. And that explanation was, we need it so that we can enforce the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which was a Civil Rights Act. And the Supreme Court said, wait, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Just because you want to enforce the Civil Rights Act, there has to be some relationship between the Civil Rights Act and asking, are you a United States citizen? And they saw no relationship between the two. So what they said was, go back to the lower courts and tell us what the relationship is between the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and the question on the citizenship, question about citizenship on the census for 2020. Are you a United States citizen? Now, people who are against this said the reason why Donald Trump put "Are you a United States citizen" on the census is to make minorities, people who are in homes that are mixed between U.S. citizens and residents, or U.S. citizens and people who are non-immigrants or out of status, to make them less likely to answer that census. So if you're an American citizen and you're married to someone who's out of status, are you going to fill that out? If you're a U.S. citizen married to a resident, are you going to fill that out? Maybe. If you're a minority who doesn't understand, or new to America who doesn't understand the census question, and you're going to get scared. Now, the census is very important because it determines how many electoral votes each state gets to vote for president. It determines how much money gets doled out to each state and each jurisdiction based on how Congress makes a legislation for money. For example, they say $400 million for transportation. It gets distributed based on where people live and the census. And it also determines how many representatives from each state go to the House of Representatives. Now, it was all done to limit immigrants from participating in the census and minorities. And it would make white Americans, like myself, higher counted or more counted than others. That would ultimately help the Republicans.
Right.
So that is now not on the census. Right before we came on the air, Donald Trump tweets out, I don't know if I have to tweet here or not.
You sure do.
We sure do?
You do.
Okay, he says, seems totally ridiculous that our government and indeed our country cannot ask a basic question of citizenship at a very expensive, detailed, and important census, in this case for 2020. I've asked the lawyers if they can delay the census no matter how long until the United States Supreme Court is given additional information from which it can make a final and decisive decision on this very critical matter. It was because the census was ready to start at the end of the month.
Right.
So they were going to print out the census forms at the end of the month. Now they can't put, are you a U.S. citizen?
Right.
But this is the problem, Donald Trump, and I'm far from a constitutional census expert. But I'll throw my 2 cents into the ring anyway. The Constitution says it has to be done every 10 years. I don't think you can argue with the Constitution of the United States and say, we're not going to do it.
Right. Because I lost.
Because I lost.
Right.
Right.
Okay? So,
Not a thing.
I don't know. Last I read, the Constitution says you got to do it every 10 years. So I'm not sure what the lawyers would be looking at.
Although, if I'm Donald Trump, I gotta be honest, I have received no reason at any point to think that I am not above the law anyway. So to him, Constitution, schmonstitution, I feel like he does not care what it says in that document.
Feels like he has that power.
Right.
Now the other case that was the gerrymandering case.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what that word means, gerrymandering. I didn't know what some words meant yesterday.
Right.
Okay, what was the word I didn't know yesterday?
Taint.
Taint. Yeah, I didn't know what that word, but I know what gerrymandering is. Okay, and that's when you draw districts so it's more likely for somebody who is more liberal or more conservative to be voting in that district. So they make districts that are very conservative voters and very liberal voters to make the individual elections for House of Representatives not very competitive.
Right.
It's called gerrymandering. So if Republicans or you're in control of state legislature, you're going to draw the map like, okay, well, there's a lot of liberals over here, there's a lot of conservatives over here. I'm going to draw the map so that this section is now conservative. And then I'm going to draw the map to make as many liberals as I can in one district.
Right.
So that way they're not spread out. we know we'll lose 2 or 3 seats and everything else will go Republican. That's how the Republicans do it.
Absolutely.
Okay? So the court said that's completely legal.
Wow.
Supreme Court said that's completely legal,
Look at
which doesn't make any sense to me. Why is it legal that you get to pick?
Right.
Basically what this is you get to pick as a congressman or as a Republican Party, if you're in control of the state legislature, you get to pick who votes for you.
Right.
How
What
is that
sense does
democratic?
make? Yeah.
You don't get to pick who votes for you. People get to pick who they represent them.
Right.
But now it's opposite. The Republican Party, or if the Democrats, they're in control of a particular state, they get to draw the district and get to decide who's going to vote for them.
Right. It doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense to me.
None.
So when I saw these 2 cases coming up, I actually thought, I believed that the gerrymandering case was going to get overturned.
Right.
And
Because it's
say
so
you can't do it
blatant.
because it's so blatant.
Right.
And I thought that the census question was going to be on the census because, Wilbur Ross says, well, we needed to enforce the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Now, I'm no expert on the Voting Rights Act, and I'm not an expert on the census. So I'm like, all right, well, if there's some rational reason, then I know they're using it as a pretext to really make minorities and immigrants not participate in the census.
Right.
But if they came out with some rational reason, even though it's a pretext, I said it'll pass muster.
Right.
But they were so dumb that the Supreme Court said we see no relationship between the Voting Rights Act and whether or not the census says whether you're a U.S. citizen or not.
Right.
So not only was it a pretext, but there was no connection between the two. So that's why they lost that actually.
And I don't understand how you can stare at a map of either one of the states that were in question and be like, yeah, that makes sense that those places are drawn
right.
like that.
Right.
Like some of them don't even touch, like they're not connected to one another.
But I don't know what
That's
Trump
a crazy district.
Yeah, but I don't know what Trump. He tweeted out, "I'm going to have lawyers look at it." Okay, but I'm going to tell you something. If in fact he was able to do something,
Yeah.
okay, he would have said what he was going to do.
Right.
And I'll tell you this. Now I'm just thinking out off the top of my head. Okay, I'm the President of the United States. I know this census thing is coming up for a vote.
Right.
I will have already met with my people
Yes.
and say, people, I'm sitting around the conference table. People, if we lose this census thing on the Supreme Court, we got to print this thing next week. What are we
Right.
going to do?
Right.
And they would say, well, you can, do a preliminary injunction. You can do X, Y, Z. Ba, 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 ba. You have all your contingency plans in place. I don't know what the contingency plan is. He doesn't know what it is either. So that's why he says, I'm going to have my people look at it.
Yeah.
But if you really,
My people are on it.
But if you really had a case to not do the census next week, he would have already said what it is.
Absolutely.
That's what I think. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, Donald Trump, as we know, as you have said very often, Brad, is the king of saying
Right.
some ish that he can't back up in any way.
So it says here that corporate America is responding to the immigration crisis.
Yeah.
Let's see how they're doing it.
Yeah.
Wayfair employees walked out of a Boston-based furniture company's Copley Square headquarters Wednesday over executives' refusal to back out of a sale to a government contractor furnishing a federal detention center
Wow.
for migrants near the U.S.-Mexico border. Hundreds of employees signed a letter that said Wayfair had a contract for $200,000 worth of bedroom furniture and that they would be sending it to Health and Human Services, and it would be distributed to the migrant detention facilities, the jails, on the U.S. side of the border, these tent cities where the overcrowding and bad conditions, children are dying every day. And Wayfair's leadership team, in an unsigned response to protesting employees, wrote that it was proud to have such an engaged team that is focused on impacting our world in meaningful, important ways, but that its company's practice to fulfill all lawful orders. Wayfair's response said, as business leaders, we also believe in the importance of respecting diversity of thought within our organization and across our customer base, and no matter how strongly any one of us feels about an issue, it's important to keep in mind that not all employees or customers agree. Well, well, how did this turn out here? Now, the employees had asked the company, I'm just reading this for the first time.
Right. No,
don't know.
I think this is a crazy story.
So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious to see what
Right.
happens. The employees had asked the company to stop the sale and review its code of ethics regarding business-to-business sales, and the
Right.
employees have since asked Wayfair to donate profits from the sale to the Refugee and Immigrant Center for Education and legal services.
Right.
Bank of America says that it will stop lending to companies that run private prisons.
Wow.
And this move followed a review by the company's Environmental Social Governance Committee, which visited sites and consulted with civil rights activists. And this is what Bank of America says. We've done our due diligence that we said we would do at the annual meetings, and this is the decision we've made.
Good for them.
So Bank of America is at least the third major bank to cut off business with the jail industry.
Well, that's good.
People
That's
who are
fantastic.
private companies that are jailing immigrants and
Nice.
they're jailing minorities who can't afford bail.
Absolutely.
It's a big business in America to put people in jail.
Make a lot of money
Absolutely.
off of
They're
it.
making a lot of money
Yeah.
off of people in jail.
Absolutely.
It is a huge, huge business. Millions and millions of people in jail, and they're in jail as a profit making for private companies.
Yeah.
So, Wayfair, are they going to? I don't know. Are
They
they
haven't-
going? Have they said whether they're going to donate the money that they received from this sale to the Refugee and Immigrant Center?
Wait.
Have the employees gone back to work? What's going on there?
So the last that we heard is that Wayfair has only submitted that letter to those employees, has not spoken to the media at all yet, and the employees are still locked out from the last I saw. So
Wow. And I got most of my bedroom furniture from Wayfair.
did?
Here's
Yeah.
where I'm very split over this because
What?
I understand the moral stand that these employees are taking. However, beds need to be sold to those facilities. We can't say like kids are in those facilities.
Yeah, but this is the issue. You don't want to work for a company that is making bad social decisions, bad decisions for America. You know, there is a responsibility of U.S. companies, of corporate America, to do the right thing. There's a responsibility for the government to do the right thing. There's a responsibility for the employees of U.S. corporations to do the right thing.
Yeah, that is very true. But it's like they're gonna have to get the beds from somewhere.
But so what?
So
So what? I mean, it's like, would I personally go work for Philip Morris? If Philip Morris called me up and said, Brad, I want you to do work visas I would not take the work from Philip Morris, and I will tell you that for a fact. I wouldn't.
Right.
Why? Because Philip Morris is killing people.
Right.
So yes, there'll be another immigration lawyer. There'll
Who
be
will
another
take it.
immigration lawyer that'll take it, but it's
Right.
not going to be me.
Right.
But wouldn't we be happier that knowing the fact that they're getting beds
they
instead
have
of
beds?
what
Right.
they've been given, which
It's
was the
that-
floor
but
and
but let them get beds from another company. I'm not going to be part of jailing children. I actually agree with them.
I'm kind of torn
I'm
because
really
I'm happy
torn
they're
over-
getting beds.
They're making.
I'm happy they're getting.
Wayfair is now making a profit from people
Over the incarceration of
over the
children.
incarceration
Right.
of children.
So if they do donate the money, then is it okay?
And if no, it's not okay. And if every American company says to the Trump administration, "We're not going to give you beds. We don't want to do business with you," okay? Then there's no jails anymore. We're not going to give you food. We're not going to give you the uniforms for the.
Then they won't have
Border
it.
Patrol.
They won't have it. They'll
No,
still be in jail.
No, the government won't be able to run the jails. That'll
Just
be it.
because they don't have beds?
No, because everybody's saying they don't want this.
Right.
All right, because
It's
people
enough.
are protesting. It's called a protest. And if people don't stand up for what they believe in, and they just say, okay, well, they need a bed, I'm going to give it to them, and they're just going to go lock, stock, and barrel with like a horse with like a blinder on, then the government will do whatever the fuck they want.
That's true.
Excuse my language.
I feel like they're already doing that.
I know, but you got to stand up and say something.
I will say, as a consumer, I don't know as an employee, as a consumer, I'm now choosing. I have stuff to buy for my house in
I
the
wanna
coming
buy-
days, and
No,
I'm
yeah,
and
I
I'm not
won't buy
shopping on
from Wayfair
Wayfair. Like
now.
I was
Yeah.
on Overstock earlier today, and not on Wayfair on purpose.
All right, let's see what else is happening in the world. Here.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Give us some good stuff, Brad.
Kim Kardashian's underwear yo-yo. Did you hear about this?
What?
You heard about it? It's not Hump Day, but apparently it's here. Okay?
What a headline.
Yeah, her underwear is pissing off everybody in Japan right now.
Why?
I don't know. Let's find out. So now Kardashian's new underwear line is called kimono, and it's everyone angry there. In Japan, the kimono is considered the national dress and
Yes.
is worn to important events like weddings and funerals. But Kim Kardashian decided to call it Kim Oh No. Get it?
Yeah, Kim. Oh no.
K-I-M-O-H-N-O.
Wait, who's the one who says that? The
She
Jap-
named
She
hers
named it
kimono.
Kimono.
But they're
And
not.
they're
It's
like Kim.
just
Oh
Kim
no.
Oh no.
That's what Japanese
That's
is
Right,
saying.
right.
Yeah, that's what
so
the Japanese are
Professor
saying.
Sheila Cliff from Japan's Jumanji woman. Come on, there's a university called Jumanji.
Yeah.
Isn't that a movie? It says with my favorite guy.
Robin Williams.
No, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh, you talking about the
went
new?
Yeah,
The
new
Master
Jumanji.
of 80s
No
movies
Yes.
with Jumanji
Yes,
2?
Jumanji 2. That's right.
That
My
does
president was
kill
Dwayne
me.
The Rock Johnson, my favorite actor of all
That killed
time.
Oh my
Yes.
That just killed me.
I don't know anything about Jumanji 1. I only know
Are you-
Jumanji 2.
You've never seen Jumanji?
I've never even seen part 2.
I watched
refuse.
Jumanji 2. One of my favorite comedian is in there too.
Kevin Hart?
Yes.
But you haven't watched the first Jumanji? This is
That's the better one.
This is
I'll
of
tell you
utter-
that.
No,
Robin Williams. Can't touch him.
No movie with Dwayne The Rock Johnson could be.
Oh Lord, he's corny.
No, he's not. So it says, so this woman from Jumanji University
Right.
says,
Isn't it
shows
Jumanji?
extreme disrespect. The kimono is an expression of Japanese identity. The word does not belong to Kim Kardashian.
Oh my gosh, look at
So
that.
Twitter's.
Those are hers.
That's her. So Twitter was.
That's not a
Twitter
kimono.
was quick to
That's
respond.
the underwear that
That's
she's
her
calling a
line.
kimono?
Yeah.
Come on.
So let me
She's
tell you
a
what
really
Twitter
cool,
says.
though.
Let me tell you what Twitter says. Inside the Tube says, nope, don't call this a kimono, even if it's a play on your name. Cultural appropriation for financial benefit is very icky, especially here. Goodbye.
Yes, Queen.
And Amixano Me Wearing says, a kimono with hakma for my graduation. Very sad to hear at Kim Kardashian has trademarked kimono for her new underwear line.
Hey, guess what? The Kardashians have created their career off of cultural appropriation. Not
Facts.
surprised.
Facts.
Like,
And there's-
nobody can be
hashtag
surprised.
facts, right?
I just don't understand. I feel like the biggest cause of the uproar, and I wholeheartedly agree, is why she would try to trademark the word kimono. You obviously did not come up with kimono. Whatever you invent
What
guise.
was the thing that you just said about Trump?
What?
Feels like he could get away with everything because he
Anything?
has.
Oh, 100%.
That's exactly what it is.
100%. Same
She
thing.
tried to say, she created cornrows.
And she did. Thank you so much, Kim.
Right.
Meanwhile, down in Florida,
Yeah.
A man is trying to break the world record. Guinness is watching for watching the Avengers Endgame 114 times and
Oh,
still
sweet
counting.
Lord.
I can't.
Yes, he's a super fan in Florida. He's trying to break a world record. He wants to watch the Marvel blockbuster 114 times in the movie theater. His name is Augustin Alanis. He obviously has no life and nothing else to do with it.
And this is that 3-hour one?
It's a
Yes.
3-hour one, yes. And he is. He has a picture of him holding his ticket and posing with a theater employee each time he watches the movie more than 3
Oh
hour
my
long
God.
time. Alanis told
God.
CNN, I go twice on weekdays, Saturday and Sunday, 4 to 5 times,
Oh
the most I can,
gosh.
because of the movie being 3 hours and 2 minutes long. He
What does
works
he
as a
do?
supervisor for his family's construction business, has spent the equivalent of more than 40 work days watching the flick, and he hopes to crush the Guinness record for most cinema productions attended for the same film. You have a long way to go to catch some of our Brad squad who has watched over 200 consecutive shows live.
That's true.
Of Brad Show Live. Are you listening, Guinness?
That's true.
Right? We have some Brad, like Carol the Top Cat Tigress Anderson
There you
has
go.
nothing. This guy has nothing on her. Who
There
else
you
has
go.
watched every day? Marge Higgs? She's
Yeah.
missed 1 or 2.
Grandma's missed a couple.
Right. Who watched it? Lisa Bling?
Jessica Leamy
Jessica
watched
Leamy?
a lot.
Jessica Leamy could be in the Guinness Book of World Records, right?
Yeah,
we actually need to stop talking about it and hit them up. Because
Yeah,
if
we do.
people over here trying to win things like that,
We can
I know we
answer
can get
immigration
something.
questions.
we can get something.
Do they still release that yearly book with like all the holographic
I would think
cool
so.
stuff that I would
Right.
spend hours looking at in Sam's Club? Like I never
used to
actually
too.
bought that book. Did you ever buy that
No,
book for
I
your
did
kids,
not.
Brad?
No, but I
So,
definitely looked through them.
So meanwhile, we have about
Who buys
6
them?
people on hold with their immigration questions. Belgium, Kim, and Jonathan Yo-Yo. We have a lot of phone lines that are wide open. So if you call right now, I'm going to be answering your immigration questions in about 45 seconds, right after Belgium, Kim, and Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias tell you to remind you. Tell you.
To remind you.
To remind you.
Right.
We're telling you to remind you.
Right.
To take your thumb out
Right.
and tell your friend
Right.
that we got some open lines. And they should watch the show and call us. Right now, Belgium Kim. Why don't you tell them and remind them? Do
Okay,
both.
I'm gonna both tell you and remind you that you need to become members of the Brad Squad. Because if you're watching this, you're basically part of the family, but you gotta make it official. Put a ring on it by joining the Brad Squad group on Facebook. So, tell all your friends and family that you actually love us by joining that group right there. Jonathan and I are at the ready
By
to
the way,
accept all your requests.
Jagarban Aduwumi Fayarusi Toyusi says he watches Brad Show live every day. He wants in on the Guinness Book of World Records too.
Ooh,
He watches, but he's quietly watches.
Yeah, you can't win Guinness World Records if you stay in the comment closet.
That's
so the
right.
next thing I want
Right,
to
because
do,
just like this guy's taking pictures with the movie theater employees, you gotta know you're there.
You gotta know exactly.
Right.
He's
This is
taking
true.
pictures. You need to be in the comments, man. Get out of that comment closet
Right.
and let us know everything you think and feel. You know we're gonna have some interesting callers, family. And also make sure that the easiest, best thing you guys can do for us is share the show. Hit that share button and either slide into someone's DMs by sharing it as a private message, or let everybody know where the party is by starting a watch party, and it will send a notification out to all of your people. And now, Yo-Yo, what do they have to do on YouTube?
On YouTube, you guys also have to join the Brad Squad, all right? Make sure you click the link and press join, because we will be accepting your application currently, right now. That's exactly what Kimmy's doing right now. And make sure, of course, like you just saw the graphic show, subscribe. Click on that red button and subscribe. Make sure you click that bell, because you need to get notified when we're doing a pop-up. And I think we're gonna be doing a pop-up soon.
Like tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
pop-up.
Brad, why you gotta always spoil it?
Tell them.
Oh, because I want them to be aware.
No, don't be aware. We're not going to tell you what time. Don't
'Cause you gotta
say
hit
what
that
time.
bell.
Click on that bell
Thank
right
you,
now
Yo-Yo.
so you can find out what time we get on tomorrow, because you're going to get a little notification. So also on Facebook, you guys make sure you do that too. Click on the bell and notify me about any post, because you need to find out. All right, and also interaction. We definitely want you guys to comment in the comment section. Tell us what you're thinking about anything that we're talking about, but most importantly, let's make sure that you put your social media questions in there. Put them in right now, because we already have got a slew of social media questions, and we're not going to get to all of them, unfortunately. So if you put yours in right now, you have a better chance, but you have an even bigger chance if you join the Brad Squad group, if you feel me. All right, and also now, everybody, please click that thumbs up. Everybody that's watching on YouTube currently, click the thumbs up, copy the link, share it into a WhatsApp group. That's what we gotta do.
What do you think about this?
Tell me.
Why don't we ask everybody on Facebook? We have about 110 people on Facebook right now. Just hit the heart button like 10 times.
Exactly.
And look, how cool is it going to be if everybody hits the heart button at the same time and it's like 1 million hearts going?
Let's see that.
110 people hit the heart button all at the same time?
Let's see it.
I think that's cool. Let's see it.
All you gotta
Ready, go.
Let's see. Are they doing it?
They are.
I'm on it.
You're on it? I'm doing it.
I'm doing it.
I'm doing it too.
Jilly's doing it. I see her face popping up.
See?
Right?
Hey.
Let's see. You think they can do it?
It's gonna blow up.
It's going to blow up any minute now.
Oh.
Let's see if it happens.
I see it.
You see it
I
happening?
see it. It's going down. It's happening.
It's happening?
It's happening right now.
Well, everybody on YouTube also, I mean, you could only press it once, but please press that thumbs up right now. Right now. Seriously. I want to see that. All right. Now, it's what you guys have all been waiting for. It's the next section when you guys call in and ask your questions. We're getting answers to your immigration questions.
All right, let's go to Shanika in Hartford, Connecticut. Shanika, how are you? Hi, Shanika. Shanika. She flushing the toilet? Cooking dinner?
I don't know.
Vacuuming?
She's doing something.
Watching TV? Walking around?
Shanika.
She going from room to room in her apartment?
Shanika.
She waited 45 minutes, this woman.
Shanika!
You know, that's what happens
Please!
sometimes.
Yes.
Please!
Just put her on hold.
All right.
We're coming back to you.
We're coming back to Shanika.
Please. Yeah.
All right, let's go to Kamal in Brooklyn. Kamal.
Hello?
How are you, Kamal?
Hello?
Kamal, how are you?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Good, good. What's going on?
I'm good. I have a question. Do you hear me well?
I do.
Okay. Sir, my question is, actually, I'm 37 years old. I'm here in the U.S. for about 2 years. the story began like
I don't
about
want to
2
hear the
years
story.
ago.
Tell me your question.
I have a problem now. I'm married to a U.S. citizen. She's a bit older than me.
What is your question?
When I married her, everything was okay, but now everything turns in everything going south. She's talking about
get a green card?
annulling the marriage or
Did you get a green
getting
card?
divorced.
Kamal, did you get a green card?
I got my first
does he
green
even listen to
card,
me?
and now I'm going to
doesn't
the
hear
second
me.
green card in a few months.
Right.
And she said that she's
Kamal.
not going to sign it for me.
Kamal, I could only
Yes, sir.
I could only help you if you stop talking, and I'll tell you exactly what to do. Okay? The fact that she's older than you doesn't matter. Is this a bona fide marriage? Did you and her live together?
Yes.
You had a financial relationship. You lived in the same house. Who cares how old who is? You have a 2-year green card.
Yes.
In a few months, you're going to need to remove the conditions. And now she's pulling this power trip on you, saying, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
So you know what you do? You say to yourself, Kamal, I don't need to be with a woman who's pulling a power trip on me. What the law says is that if I already have my 2-year green card and I live with this woman and I had a financial relationship with this woman and I'm divorced from her, I don't need her. I get my permanent green card anyway. So what you do is this. She's giving you a hard time. She's pulling a power trip. You're not happy. Life's too short to be unhappy. Get divorced. Start a divorce immediately. And then you file the application to remove the conditions of your permanent residence based on yourself, that it was a bona fide marriage. You lived with her. You are now divorced. You don't need her to sign anything.
Okay, and what about the annulment thing? I mean, she was talking about annulling this.
Okay, so this is what you do. You beat her to the punch. You start your divorce. She would have to countersue you for annulment. She would have to prove that you and her entered into the marriage based on some fraud. Okay? And as long as you lived together in the same household and you had a financial relationship, there was no fraud in the marriage, and you would beat the annulment and you would just get a divorce based on irreconcilable differences.
This is the problem here, that we sleep in separate rooms. We don't have any intimacy because
this is the problem. I just told you exactly what you need to do. Okay? Whether you have intimacy at this moment or not, I asked you a question. Is it a bona fide loving marriage? Was it a bona fide? It was. Did you have a financial relationship? Yes. This is not hump day. We don't need to know about your sex life. Okay? You live in the same household. It was a bona fide marriage. You have a financial relationship. You beat her to the punch. Get divorced before any sort of annulment, and you get a green card. You want to live there, you can. You want to move out, it's all you, Kamal. It's all you. Hold on one second.
So you suggest me to apply for divorce before her getting the annulment?
Yes.
Okay, that's probably what I'm going to do. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. Now, you see Belgium Kim.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Yo-Yo. I could have sat there for 20 minutes and listened to the man.
Yeah.
Right.
He would have let you.
Right. And we would have got to the same thing.
Right.
What do I do?
Right.
Which is why I ask, because I want to try to get through as many calls as I can.
Right.
Just ask me the question, and then I'll tell you what to do. Because I know all the facts.
100%.
You want to know I know all the facts? I've heard them all 100,000 times. I hate to say it. You ask me the question, I already know what's going on.
I already know.
Look at the big brain on Brad. Look at that big brain.
That they're trying to save.
They're trying to save. Julie, the TriCaster guy, wants to save my brain.
I think he's got a big old bowl of formaldehyde in the back right now.
Can you imagine? He has like this whole TriCaster thing and like one wire hooked up to a ball of formaldehyde. He's like, this is where it's going.
Oh gosh.
Is it
Is it just one wire? That's all you need?
That's all you need.
Because that's all you need these days.
Well,
he goes, it's all new technology, you know?
Well, I think he uses the generator from the ice cream truck he drives to help power it, so that's all you need.
Shanika's back. Let's speak to Shanika. Shanika, how are you? How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. I have a question. My husband and I had an interview 3 months ago, and they said we would get something in the mail, and it's been 3 months. So what should we do?
You got to wait 4 months before you jump to conclusions. The law
I'm
says they
sorry, I
got
can't hear you. What did you say? I have to wait what?
Wait 120 days before you jump to conclusions. You got to give them 120 days, and then call me back.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Let's go to Emron in Worcester, Massachusetts. Emron.
Hello, Brad. How are you doing?
In Worcester, Massachusetts. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. What's going on?
Okay, Brad, I'm an international student on F1 visa from Pakistan, and my wife is a U.S. citizen, and she is currently on mass health. Can we apply for adjustment of status as my wife is on mass health? And this is my first question. And secondly, there is a tension currently between U.S. and Pakistan. Will this delay the process?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
She's on what? Did you say she's on welfare?
She's on mass health.
What's mass
health? Health insurance.
Okay, no, that's fine because that's state. It's a state thing. It's fine. She can file for you. Number one. Number two. Between the United States and Pakistan, yeah. You're on probably Pakistan's on the shithole list, right? Jonathan, last I saw Trump's shithole list?
Yep.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I make a joke about it because it's so ridiculous, okay? Because there's good people and bad people from every country. So, I make a joke about it because it's the most ridiculous thing in the world. But the reality is, because you're from Pakistan, your case is going to be delayed. Probably 24 months to 30 months over a 12-month for somebody from Norway. Now, file your papers, put in your adjustment of status as quickly as possible, and after 12 months, if you have not gotten scheduled for your interview yet, you always have the right to file a mandamus. And then it'll go much faster, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much,
You're very
Brad.
welcome.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Eddie from New Orleans. Eddie.
Hello.
How are you?
Hey, I'm fine. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
Hey, Brad, let me ask you. I have a friend. He lives in the U.S. since he was 12 years old. He's been here for 20 years now. Last year, I became a citizen, and I wanted him to file so we can do the ceremony at the same day, maybe. And he refused to do it. Looks like he never wanted to do it. But now I found out that he has a really bad problem of learning. He doesn't learn anything.
Right.
So he doesn't speak English, although he lives here for 20 years. And so I was reading online, and I saw some videos about a medical waiver. Mm-hmm. Is that possible for him?
How long is he? How old is he now?
How he is 32. He came here when he was 12.
Why can't he read?
Well, he said he always felt. I mean, I learned it after that. He always felt bad about going to school and never learned. So everybody was going through the years, and he was always staying behind. So he quit school when he was 14 years old. He didn't want to go anymore.
So this is the story with a medical waiver, okay? Because you don't get a medical waiver because you didn't go to school. You don't get a medical waiver because you don't feel like going back to school now to learn to read. You could only get a medical waiver if you're mentally deficient, okay? For lack of a politically correct term, you need a medical doctor to say, and I'm sorry, I'm not being politically correct, you're like mentally retarded. There's something mentally wrong with you that you're incapable of learning, that your IQ is like 80. And they have to do medical tests to make that determination. You just can't go to a doctor and the doctor talks to you and says, yep, this guy can't learn, I'm going to write a letter and get you a waiver. You actually have to do tests, scientifically determined tests to determine that you have a mental deficiency that makes you unable to learn. It costs about $4,000 or $5,000 in medical testing just to get a doctor to say whether or not you would qualify for a waiver. So yes, if there's something mentally deficient with the man, and he's like Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man or something, I guess, then yes, okay. But just because he just chose not to go to school, or his parents didn't send him to school, and now he's 32 years old, and he says, you can't teach a old dog new tricks. I don't want to learn. But there's nothing mentally wrong with him. There's no waiver for that.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, let's go to Johnson in Miami, Florida. Johnson.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, Mister. I have 3 questions for you. So, on May 21st, USCIS received request for more evidence on a I-130 on the 21. So, how long how long can I wait before I can follow up on the request for more evidence?
You can follow up every day if you want to, but I don't know where you're at. Is this an I-130 for who's filing for who?
I-130.
Who's filing for who?
For a child under 21.
Are you a resident or a citizen?
Resident.
Okay. You'll hear back probably in 3 to 6 months.
2 to 6 months. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
All right.
So the other question is, so if someone file for asylum, and then the case is currently pending, if the person married to a U.S. citizen, and then if the U.S. citizen gonna file for that person, do they have to close the asylum case?
You have to close the asylum case, correct.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So the third question is, my mother filed for my brother I-130. My mother is a U.S. resident. So now my brother is in Haiti. So if my brother move to Canada, so can the case still move on?
And that's going to be very difficult because your mother's coming to be reunited and joined with a family member who doesn't live in the United States. So if the U.S. Embassy in Haiti knows that your U.S. citizen brother doesn't live in the United States but lives in Canada, that would make your mother not qualified to be a permanent resident. The reason why your mom gets the green card is to keep families together. So he's defeating the purpose of the law if he's not even in the United States. It's like somebody marries. Give you a perfect example. Let's assume, for argument's sake, Belgium, Kim and I are married.
Right.
And we live in Belgium.
Right.
Okay, and I'm the American citizen and Kim is from Belgium. Thus Belgium
hypothetically.
Kim.
Right.
And I go into the embassy to say I want to get Belgium Kim a green card. We're married.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't live in America. We live in Belgium. I have no intention of living in America. Belgium Kim doesn't get a green card because we're not being reunited in America. It's the same thing here, because you see that a lot from marriages from people who live in another country.
Oh, no. So what I'm saying, so it's not my mom gonna move to Canada. My brother moved to Canada. Can the case still move on?
Yeah, but I'm not a Canadian immigration lawyer. I thought you were asking about American
Oh,
immigration.
no. So what I'm saying, so let's say, for example, my brother stay in Canada, and then when the when the NVC send the case to Haiti, and then my brother go back to Haiti to get the process move on.
I still don't understand, but let me give you this. If your brother lives in Canada and not the United States, your mom doesn't get a green card. That's the answer.
Oh, all right,
okay?
Thank you.
All right. I don't understand who was living where, but that's the answer. Okay? You got to live in America. You got to be domiciled. There's a legal term called domicile, which is this is your primary residence. Whether you're a U.S. citizen, a resident, whatever, you're domiciled here. Then you can sponsor. If you're not domiciled in America, you can't sponsor. Let's go to Mario in Jefferson City. Let me say one other thing. As long as you have the intention of being domiciled, so the brother could be in Canada right now and say, I intend to move back to the United States, that's okay. Mario in Jefferson City, Missouri.
Hi.
How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm doing good. Good. Thanks. I'm just calling again I called earlier in the year, but I was trying to get the money together I'm married to a U.S. resident. I'm an international student. I'm currently in school, and I would like to go ahead with the paperwork and start the process. I was just wondering, my I-20 expires in 2023. However, my student visa expires in 2021. If I should go ahead and put the paperwork in now, how long do you think it would take for me to get an approval?
Anywhere from 12 to 24 months to get your green card, but you'll get a travel document and a work permit in about 6 months or so. Once you put the paperwork in, you're no longer on the student visa. You're pending adjustment. You can't travel on that student visa or anything like that.
Oh, I also have a visitor's visa. Would I be able to travel? No. Oh, but I wouldn't be able to come back.
No. And as a matter of fact, if you leave the country without permission from immigration, which would be the advance parole, that denies your adjustment automatically.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So is there any kind of waiver that can allow me to travel back and forth?
It's called advance parole, that you have to apply for that with the adjustment.
What's it called?
Advance parole. It's done on an I-131.
Okay.
All right?
Thanks.
If you need help, hold on.
All right.
Let's go to Davis in New York, New York. Davis. Davis. Davis.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, hello.
Good. What's going on?
Hello.
Davis.
Yes.
Hi.
Are you hearing me?
I hear you, Davis. What's your question?
You can hear me?
I do.
It's very low.
You don't know that I hear you? Don't you? It's very low. It's very low.
Okay. How you doing,
do you
sir?
hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Better.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What can I do to help you? I just moved my microphone up.
First of all, I want to congratulate you for the few minutes I've been listening. I've been learning a whole lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
My question is as follows.
Where are you from, Davis? Yo-Yo wants to know. Where are you from?
I'm
Yo-Yo
from
wants...
Liberia.
From Liberia.
I'm in New York. I'm in Liberia.
Okay.
I'm in Liberia.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So what's your question?
My question is it possible that a constant visitor to the United States apply for a green card?
Can a visitor's visa apply for a green card? If they're sponsored by the right person, yes.
No, she visits here often, come and shop and go. Can she ask for a green card?
You're asking me if somebody who comes on a visitor's visa likes to shop here and leave, can they apply for a green card? I'll answer it both ways. One, there's no I like to shop, I want a green card application. Okay? Number two, there are ways to get a green card if you entered on a visa. You're asking me how do you get a green card? Through family, job sponsorship, employment, investments. There's all sorts of ways to do it. I would need to speak with her and figure it out. And I'm happy to speak with her. So hold on one second, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's go to Kim in Columbia Heights, Washington, D.C. How are you?
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. What's going on?
I have some questions. How long can you stay out of the country if you're a citizen?
Forever.
So you don't have to complete any forms, right?
No, just keep renewing your passport. And even if you don't renew your passport, you're still a U.S. citizen unless you renounce your U.S. citizenship. I have a friend who married a Brazilian lady. I said this, used to say this on my radio show because I haven't had this question in a long time. I have a friend who married a Brazilian lady 25 years ago. He's never shown back up to America. He's still an American citizen.
Okay, I have my second question.
Yes.
Do you go in for an interview if you're removing the condition on your green card?
Most of the time, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
What's the citizenship test?
And how
wait,
do I
we have
source
somebody in the background with a third question. What was it?
How do I source the book for?
What is the test for citizenship that we hear about?
What is the test for citizenship that we hear about? Is that the question?
Yes.
The test for it's a test on U.S. government civics and history. They could ask you they're going to ask you 10 questions. You got to get 6 right. But those questions come from a booklet. They have probably a list of 400 or 500 questions. You don't know which one you're going to get. Like for example, what are the colors of the flag? What are the 50 stars being on the flag? Who wrote the Star Spangled Banner? Things like that.
Okay, so where can I source a copy of that book, like a copy of the test?
Just Google U.S. citizenship test, USCIS, something like that, and I'm sure it'll come up a million times. And you could go to the USCIS website, I'm sure, and download it as well.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Okay.
All right, let's go to Nicola in Cocoa, Florida. Nicola.
Hi.
Yes.
My question is, can a permanent residency file for her son who is over 21 and living in the United States?
Yes, as long as the son is single. But it's going to take a long time.
Okay. Can I talk to you guys off here?
Yeah, hold on. Let's go to Gift in Baltimore, Maryland. Gift. Gift. Gift.
Hello?
How are you, Gift?
Yeah, I'm fine. Brad, how are you doing?
Great. What can I do to help you?
Yeah, I have a sister who came in 2015 with a B1, B2 visa, and then she got married to a U.S. citizen in 2017 and filed in that same year around September, and she has not been called. They've not been called for the green card interview.
So she's at a case. She's at a case pending for almost 2 years now.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so where's she from?
From Nigeria.
All right. Well, maybe it's because it's Nigeria, because that's what they do. But if you're waiting more than 12 months for a pending adjustment of status and you have not been called for an interview, you have 3 options. Option 1 is do nothing and wait. Option 2 is write the government and say, hi, when am I getting my interview? And you can write immigration, you can write your congressman, you can write your senator, you can write anybody you want. They'll write you back, but it's not going to make anything go faster. Or 3, you file a mandamus, you sue them and say, you're violating my rights. A visa delayed is a visa denied. And then you get an interview right away. All right, so I'm happy to talk to you about a mandamus. We talk about it a lot. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, hello?
Oh, you have another question?
Yes,
What?
yes. But the problem right now is like the guy is not treating her right.
Okay,
like,
well now that's a different story. Okay, so now if what do you mean by not treating right? Is it domestic violence, extreme emotional abuse, both? All right, then you want to file a VAWA case. That's a different story. That's a different story than when am I getting my interview. All right, so hold on for that as well.
They've not gone for
I understand that, but you can still file a VAWA case. Nobody should live in a home where there's violence or extreme emotional abuse. Okay, nobody.
Okay.
All right, hold on 1 second. Not to get a green card, that's for sure. All right, let's go to Curtis in Queens. Curtis,
hello.
how are you?
I'm good, thanks. I called sometime, I think early in the year.
Right.
I'm doing a U visa and it's going, I think, the 4th year. But actually in the 4th year, about a year and it'll be the 4th year. I haven't done it yet, and I understand it takes a long time. But my questions are, one, I've been learning a few things lately which the lawyer did not tell me, like my sibling and parents, I'm able to put them on as my I sponsor them. The application is done already, like I said, but I don't remember if we.
Wait. You can't add your siblings on your U visa. Your siblings, you said?
Yes, like maybe a brother, also who is of the age.
How old is your brother?
Like a mother.
Your mother? How old are you?
Yes. How old am I?
Yeah.
32.
Okay. You could, if you were under 21, you would be able to add your mother on the case. But you're an adult. No, you wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't be able to do that. The only thing you can do at this point is try to apply for a work permit based on humanitarian reasons. I don't know if you've done that yet.
Right. So that's one of my other questions. June of last year, I applied on my own. I applied for a work permit because I asked my lawyer and she keep on telling me, wait, I can't do it.
You can do it based on humanitarian reasons. Whether you have good humanitarian reasons to get approved is a different story.
Oh, okay. I've applied and I haven't heard anything up to now. It's been over a year.
Okay, well, all right. So I don't know what were your humanitarian reasons. So we would have to look at it and see what your humanitarian reasons are. And then if you have a valid case, we would file a mandamus.
Oh, okay.
All right, so hold on 1 second.
Right.
Hold on 1 second. Okay. Let's go to Kim in Orlando, Florida. Kim, how are you? How you doing?
I'm good.
What's going on?
Thank you. I called back in April and I told you that I had a pending VAWA case, and you did said if they delay the denial. So unfortunately, they denied my I-360 case as well as my I-485.
All right.
Right. So now I'm asking, what is it that I can do?
You can do one of 3 things. You can fight it out in removal because you're going to be put in deportation at some point, and prove that this is a valid, bona fide VAWA case and get it approved before a judge. And that would be based on cancellation of removal for an abused spouse. You can file a new VAWA case and hopefully do a better job and be able to prove it. Or you can give up on VAWA and find another way to get a green card before they put you in deportation.
Okay. The thing is, they deny saying that infidelity is not strong enough ground for
Well, yeah, they didn't
abuse.
they didn't believe your story, or they didn't believe that you suffered extreme emotional abuse. So, I don't know what you put in there. I'm happy to have a consultation, review it, and then tell you what I would suggest.
Okay.
Hold on one second. Hold on.
Thank you very much.
Hold on. Let's go to Stacy in Brooklyn. Stacy.
Hi, Brad. Good evening.
How are you?
So, I sent in the paperwork to remove the condition of the green card.
Right.
I went and checked the status yesterday, and I saw that they said yesterday they decided that they want to do an interview. So, is that?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. They want to do an interview. That's good. That means your case is coming to an end.
Oh. Okay, so is it an interview where they're going to separate us? Because I had that before, like the is that possible again?
Anything is possible. I doubt it, but anything is possible. Usually they do not separate you for the removal of the conditions.
Okay.
All right, but you can't
So
say it won't happen.
Is there anything I need to be worried about?
If you live with your spouse and you guys know each other's routines and you have a financial relationship, you should be okay. If you don't live with him and don't have a financial relationship, I'd be very worried.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Let's go to Jen in Bakersfield, California. Jen.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a question for filing I-30 for adopted child.
Okay. Where is you have an adopted child, or you want to adopt a child?
No, we have.
You have?
That's right. Yes.
Where is this adopted child?
India.
In India?
Uh-huh.
All right. And how old is this adopted child?
She is 14 years right now.
All right. And when did you adopt this child?
She was adopted in 2012. It's been a while.
Okay. And did you ever live in the same house as this child?
We, when she was born, we were living with her for a year. That time we haven't adopted her.
You had lived with her for 1 year before you adopted her?
Yeah, and then after that we were going back and forth in summer break to see her.
Does it add up that you were physically in the same house for 2 years?
Yes.
Okay,
and
because what you have to prove is that the adoption happened more than 2 years ago, and that you physically lived in the house with her before or after the adoption. Doesn't matter when, for 2 years. And it doesn't have to be 2 consecutive years. You could be in the aggregate, meaning adding it up. We have to be able to prove that. Okay, immigration looks at this very, very difficultly. They take a very hard look at these cases, and I think you're going to need a lawyer. All right, so hold on one second. Hold on one second. All right, Belgium Kim, Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Don't we look ready?
We were born ready.
Are you ready?
We were born ready.
We stay ready, Brad.
For social media check-in.
Stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready.
That's right.
All right, our first question from our Brad Squad group page, because the first 5 questions we're asking from the group page. Oye Wole saying, what are the requirements to submit for citizenship application through marriage? I have a 10-year green card, over a year now.
The requirements?
To submit for the citizenship application through marriage.
You have to prove you still live with your wife, that you physically live together, and that you have a joint financial relationship with her. So you're going to need joint tax returns, bills addressed to the both of you, bank statements to show money coming in from both of you, and your bills being paid jointly through that bank account, and proof that you live in the same household, which would be bills, your tax returns, photos. Everything that you used to prove it was a bona fide marriage for your green card case, you need again for your citizenship.
We've got a question from Monica Laws, Brad's Squad member number 2, who said, if you're married to a U.S. citizen and he filed for me and my under 21-year-old daughter, so he filed for me and my under 21-year-old daughter, how long will it take for me to get my green card, and how long will it take my daughter to get hers?
Say that again.
So married, I knew that.
Yes.
Married to
Yes,
a
I was doing some technology things over here.
technology.
Right.
Very technological.
Saving the
this
show.
So, right? Yes.
Saving the show.
I wasn't saving the show.
No.
My computer went blank. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So I had to restart my computer.
Saving the show. What would we have done with no computer for the rest of the week, right? Monica is married to a U.S. citizen. That U.S. citizen has filed for both her and her under 21-year-old daughter. She's wondering when she's going to get her green card and when her daughter is going to get her
Where's
green
Monica?
card.
Is she in the States? Is she in another country?
Well, I understand what the question was,
Do we know
Brad.
when this was filed?
I gave you all the information I have received.
Monica, if you're in the United States and you're filing your adjustment here, it could be anywhere from like 7-8 months on the short end to 3 years on the long end, depending on where you are and what country you're from. If you're in another country, it could be anywhere from 12 months on the short end to 24 months or longer on the long end.
Molly Ed, our third, right? Third Brad Squad member, saying, I was originally an F2B, but my mom became a citizen. A letter was written to USCIS informing them as well as to put the petition in F1. Now F2B is moving faster. Can I go back to the F2B category?
Your mom can elect to go back to F2B. She can write the National Visa Center and say, under the Child Status Protection Act, I want to elect to go back to F2B.
Yvonne said, can a person travel to Canada on their green card coming from the U.S.?
Can the person travel to Canada? Depends on what country they're from. So Canada will let you into their country based on the reciprocity for not green card in the United States, but where your passport is from. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're from a country that doesn't need a visa to enter Canada, then you're good.
Right.
If you're from a country that needs a visa, you need to get a visa. Now, the fact that you have a green card in the United States almost would assure you that you would get a visa for Canada because you would obviously show the intention of returning to the United States.
Right.
Most people, believe it or not, would prefer a green card in the United States than green card Canada.
All right. NC Feet saying, I had a 1-year B1, B2 visa for conference from West Africa. I came in first time and stayed 2 weeks, and the second time for a conference after which I stayed 5 months. 3 weeks visiting friends and potential university for my master's without overstaying. I want to go back to West Africa in order to prepare for my master's. My question is, I'm planning to apply for an F1 visa. Do I stand a chance of getting the F1 visa approved? If yes, would there be a problem of re-entry at the POE airport? I'm 25 years old.
Well, A, you got to get accepted to school. B, you got to show you have the financial ability to pay for school, room and boarding, to get an I-20. That's first two things. Then you take your I-20 and you go to the U.S. Embassy from whatever country you're in, and you have to show that at the end of your studies, you're going to go back to your home country. That's the hardest thing. Most people get denied because they can't show non-immigrant intent. The government thinks that you're going to stay in America forever. Do I know whether you have non-immigrant intent or immigrant intent? I have no idea. Do I know what you have to prove? I don't know. I mean, I know what you have to prove. You got to prove that you're leaving enough ties to your home country. What could ties be? You have property, family, jobs waiting for you, money. You live in a good neighborhood. Why would you give up this great neighborhood? I live in, a McMansion in my country, whatever it is. So it depends. Depends.
We've got our next question from Vanny Boo. Sorry, Elroy. I didn't mean to skip you, Elroy. Elroy said, I received my EAD combo card and I'm planning to travel back home for 6 weeks. Is that too long to travel back to? I need advice.
It's not too long. You should be okay. But I tell people 3 weeks max, 4 weeks at the top. I think after that, you're really looking for trouble at the airport.
All right, Vanny Boo Nisbet saying, how long does it take for a permanent resident spouse to get their work permit?
It's about 6 months right now.
And they're in the U.S.
6 to 8 months right now, believe it or not.
Okay.
We've got a question from Ron who said, can a green card holder minor stay for a year outside of the U.S.?
No.
Okay, Ben saying, if you applied for an extension before you're out of status and it took USCIS over 9 months to respond with the RFE, has the person fallen out of status as a result?
Yes, they have. Because, let's say, for example, because I see this a lot, you're on a visitor's visa for 6 months and then you apply to extend your visitor's visa for 6 more months. Just because, now you can only extend it for up to 6 months. You can't extend it more than that. just because the government hasn't responded to your request to extend your visitor's visa doesn't mean you're allowed to stay here and have to wait here until you get a response from the government. You still have to leave during that time period. And then the government will write you back in your home country, prove to us, you were intended to visit. Well, here's all the proof you need. I'm not here. But once you stay and wait for that RFE that comes 7, 8, 9 months after, you're out of status. Even if they approve you, they're going to deny you.
Our next question is from Rita, who said, my friend filed for asylum 5 years ago in 2014 and has yet to have an interview. What should he do and what should he expect?
It's because it's last in, first out, and you are last in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
2014.
But then
so if you have a really great, bona fide, fabulous political asylum case, you mandamus the hell out of it right now. If you have a shaky case, you're like, thank God they're not asking to see me for years. And then figure out another way to get a green card.
Crystal G saying, I have an urgent question.
Okay.
All right. Can one file a Form I-290B with sufficient evidence after an I-485 denial?
I would refile again. That would be a motion to reopen. I would just refile again.
We've got a question.
Ooh, our new friend.
Our new friend.
Who's your new friend?
Well, you would call her Sweetix Thirtist.
Theatist.
Sweetix Thirtist.
Sweetix Thirtist.
Everybody else would call her the artist.
Right, Sweetx the artist.
Sweetx the artist.
Wants to know if the I-485 expires. Brad's not good with a lack of spaces. If there's no space, he will read it as a word,
exactly.
y'all.
It's a one word. Jessica Levy. That's very true.
I know. If there are no spaces, Brad will not pause.
That's right.
Put some spaces in your name.
Yeah, how would I know where the first word ends and the next word begins? It doesn't make any sense to me.
That's not
how my brain works. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
There's no room for extra spaces, y'all.
You actually got that right.
Sweet X says if the I-485 expires on the day of the USCIS is saying the 30th of June, can it still be used? So if it expires June 30th, can I still use it on June 30th and afterwards?
What is this?
The I-485 expires. The I-485.
The I-485 expires? Or the work permit?
The expiration day on the USCIS website is the 30th of June. Can it still be used?
As long as it's received by that day.
Okay.
Has to be received by that day.
Okay.
Right, okay. I understand now. The form expires.
Oh, okay.
The form expires, right.
Okay.
It's like milk.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Forms are like milk. You can't use it after the expiration date.
Obvious, because they taste bad. I will
Correct.
stop.
Yeah.
Correct.
Baleabe.
Right, would get you sick. Right. When you drink bad milk, it gets you sick, and when you get a denial letter from immigration, you even get sicker.
Also sick.
So it's like bad milk,
true.
okay?
Yeah. Sicker or more sick?
More sick.
Oh. I never know. Like, I always say both.
I say sicker.
I say sicker.
Yes.
Yeah, nobody says more sick.
More sick.
That's
Yeah,
like
well,
Only somebody who knows really good grammar
Right.
would say more sick.
Those are the same people that when you say how you doing, they say I'm doing well. It's
Yeah.
good. Everyone
I'm
says I'm
doing
doing
good. I'm
good.
good.
Like it's good,
I'm
even if
good.
it's not grammatically correct.
Right. It's like saying like how you doing, but really you should be saying
How are you?
How are you doing?
are you?
But why say how you
doing?
doing? It's YA.
Yeah,
How you
yeah,
doing?
doing.
How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Exactly. It's not how are you doing.
Right.
Right. Nobody says that.
All right, Baleabe.
Now that we got that out of the way.
Baleabe, hello, Brad. Have you heard about Lee Summit NBC in Missouri and why it doesn't show on the USCIS website?
I've heard of it. It's the National Benefit Center.
And
On the
Summit?
USCIS website, it shows at the National Benefit Center.
Ah.
Brad knows all. Shernette said, can you apply for asylum after 2 years?
Not unless something changed in your country. You have to apply. The general rule is you got to do it in 1 year unless circumstances have changed.
Mahendra saying a friend's I-130 priority date November 2018 is filed in F2A category, but he just returned from a trip abroad on an F1 visa last week. Can he file the I-485 starting in July? He got his F1 visa stamped in 2015.
He can file for adjustment if his priority date's current 90 days after his entry.
Queen Victoria Brits Oh my God.
Yeah.
Queen Victoria Brits says, my son
Got
is
a
living in
curtsy.
Jamaica, and he is 9 years old, and my husband would like to go ahead and file for him. What documents should my husband file for my son?
I assume the husband's a U.S. citizen.
And
so
they
you're
are
gonna need,
married.
You're going to need your marriage certificate, your son's birth certificate to show you the mom. You need proof your husband's a citizen. So the marriage certificate says you're married to a citizen, and any divorce decrees or death certificates from prior spouses.
Okay, USA Star News saying, I'm 72 years old. I want to visit the USA with my 3 grandkids. Their ages are 15, 18, and 20 years old to attend my family friend's son wedding. Do I need any special paperwork?
To show up at the airport or to go to the U.S. Embassy?
So she's 72 years old. She wants to take the 3 grandkids that are 15, 18, and 20 to attend the son's or the friend's son's wedding.
If they have visitor's visas, just get on a plane and go. If they need visitor's visas, you got to prove that not only you, grandma, is it grandma?
Grandma.
Grandma's going to return back to whatever country you were with 3 children.
How do you prove that?
Ties back to your home country. So, they're enrolled in school, maybe they're in a private school, and you've already paid for it. Maybe they come from a good neighborhood. Maybe, the parents are there and have good, decent jobs. Why would, grandma steal the kids?
Right.
And, depends.
Okay.
Every case is different. Sometimes you just can't prove it. And if you can't prove it, you can't prove it. It's not like every case, this is how you prove it.
Right.
Sometimes I speak to people, I'm like, I don't know what to, you have no ties. There's nothing to bring.
Right.
Just hope for the best.
So, okay, I was about to say, so what do you do after that?
Just hope for the best.
Just hope for the best.
Right.
5-star chick says, my sister is here on a B2 visa, which expired 2 years ago. She wants to study nursing. How could she go about adjusting her status to be able to go to school? And is it going to be a problem that the B2 is expired?
You can adjust your status to go to school. You can't go from a B2, overstay, and then go to a student visa. You can't change it. It's called a change of status here. So you can't do that because you've already overstayed. And if you've overstayed by more than a year and you go home to get your student visa, you can't come back for 10 years. So at this point, the sister's screwed. She's got to figure out a way to get a green card. Can't go to a student visa.
Right.
All right.
So in April 2017,
yes,
Belgium, Kim, and Jonathan Elias. I love saying
wow.
that. Jonathan Elias.
Oh,
Wow.
You come here right this instant.
I know.
Jonathan Elias.
I was like, am I in
did
trouble?
Did your mom ever say that to you? No, she's a nice one.
No, what she is a nice
She's
one, but she definitely beat your boy.
You got middle names, right?
Okay.
We all got middle
So
names.
in April 2017, former U.S. District Attorney Jeff Sessions, little weasel,
Yeah.
Kate
McKinnon, weasel guy on Senate Live, directed federal prosecutors to prioritize cases involving the smuggling of immigrants across the border from Mexico. Since then, U.S. citizens have actually been arrested for giving life-saving humanitarian assistance to migrants who have crossed the border. Because basically, if you talk to anybody who is an immigrant near the border, the government's going to say, you're a smuggler. All right? This happened to Teresa Todd. Teresa is actually the city attorney for Marfa, Texas, a border town, and the county attorney of Jeff Davis County in Texas. She is the prosecutor for all misdemeanors in that county.
Oh my God.
So she's like almost like the district attorney
Right.
for low-level crimes. She went to help an immigrant who was on the side of the road who looked very ill. Border Patrol arrested her because she was helping somebody.
Wow.
Here's her story. Let's watch. The Trump administration has stepped up punitive measures targeting private citizens who provide compassionate help to migrants along the border, where the remote terrain can be brutal. This comes after former U.S. District Attorney Jeff Sessions directed federal prosecutors to prioritize cases involving the harboring of undocumented immigrants. In January, 4 volunteers with No More Deaths, a nonprofit based in Tucson, Arizona, were convicted on misdemeanor criminal charges after leaving water and canned food for migrants hiking through a national wildlife refuge. 5 other volunteers also faced charges, and one felony case of a volunteer, Scott Warren, just ended in a hung jury. Warren was facing up to 20 years in prison if convicted. Meanwhile, Teresa Todd, who is the city attorney in Marfa, Texas, and the county attorney of Jeff Davis County, which is an elected position, was arrested by Border Patrol in February and is being investigated by the Department of Homeland Security after she was flagged down by a young migrant in need of help for his very ill sister. Teresa is with me today to discuss the situation which she describes as the Twilight Zone. Welcome, Teresa. How are you doing? How are you holding up?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on your show. I appreciate it, Brett.
Okay. So now you live in Fort Davis, Texas, and you work in 20 minutes away in Marfa, Texas. Can you give us an idea where Fort Davis, Texas is, where Marfa, Texas is, as compared to where the border is and where there's potential border crossings?
Sure. Where I live is in Big Bend country. It's really beautiful. It's very rugged. It's got a high desert, mountainous areas, and it's very unforgiving. Marfa is located 60 miles from the border.
Now you say it's unforgiving. Tell me what is unforgiving about it?
It's very rural, and so there aren't a lot of places where you can get food and water. It can be very dry in different parts of the year. The summer is our rainy season, but other than that, it's very dry. It's very hard to find water. It's very hard to find food, and you will need to walk for miles and miles through this mountainous terrain, anywhere from 50 to 100 miles.
Now, you've lived there your whole life?
No, I moved in 1994, so I've been out here 25 years.
Right, so you know the area well. Do you see a lot of migrants walking around, running across the border, running from Border Patrol?
I personally do not. I'm a city and county attorney. I believe that law enforcement deals with that far more than I do.
Before we get into the incident, let's go back. You work with migrants in your job?
I don't really have that much interaction. Occasionally, I'll have a victim of domestic violence that will have immigration issues, and there are specific visas for those folks, and we refer them to who they need for that.
So now let's go to that evening. How long ago was this?
This was at the end of February. I believe it was February 27th.
And it's nighttime? It's daytime?
It's about 10 o'clock at night, and I had a late meeting at the city of Marfa, and then I actually had more work to do, so I went across the street, ate dinner, finished up my work, and then I was driving home. About halfway, a young man ran out. He was wearing a white shirt, and he was flagging me down like he was in trouble. I didn't see other cars on the road. It's a road that's pretty well traveled. I had assumed I might not be the first person that they had tried to stop.
And you weren't scared as a single woman late at night on a deserted highway, stopping, pulling over to help somebody?
I didn't think about that,
Right.
to be honest. It's just instinct. I just saw somebody who needed help. I immediately, made a complete turnaround and went back.
And was he waving his hands like this? Was he screaming?
He came from the bar ditch toward the shoulder and had his arms over his head and was waving and very frantically trying to get my attention.
Okay, so you pulled over, and what happened?
I pulled over, and he comes to the window and tells me that his sister is sick. And his brother and his sister come toward my car, and it's the three of them, and his sister does not look well at all. Her skin was very, very pale. Just everything about the way that she looked, she was in very bad shape. And I knew she needed to get off her feet and out of the weather.
What did you think was wrong with her?
She looked to me like she was suffering from exposure, from dehydration, from starvation. I wasn't aware at that time of the condition she was suffering from, which is when your muscles actually begin to break down. And when they do that, they release a protein that can shut down your kidneys.
Right. And had you left her there, it's possible she would be dead today.
All I know is that I happened to come by at the right time.
So you look at her, and what do you? Do they speak English, or you speak Spanish?
No, I thought my Spanish was pretty decent, but boy, did it fail me.
Right.
We were all very excited. It was a very tense situation.
When did you know that they were not American, that they didn't have legal status to be here?
I got them in my car. I had an inkling, but I was more concerned about trying to get, I now know her name is Esmeralda,
Right.
out of the weather and off of her feet. The first thing was get them in my car, turn on the heat. I asked everybody if they were okay. The two brothers said yes. Esmeralda said no. The next thing is they're telling me that they were left by the coyote that they were with because Esmeralda's legs gave out and she was going to be left behind and her brothers weren't going to leave her behind. And so at that point, I knew that they were migrants. And I think I need to try to get them some assistance with asylum. So hopefully they can stay in this country. I first tried to make a phone call to a friend I hadn't talked to in a couple of years, but that works for a refugee services organization. It's 10 o'clock at night. You know, we're past polite calling hours. So I don't get a call from her. I also try to call my friend who is sector counsel for the Border Patrol. She has kids. It's after 10. I don't get her. And I see a car pull up, a dark vehicle pull up very slowly behind me. I can tell that it is not a Border Patrol vehicle. They're white with green.
Right.
This is a dark vehicle. I didn't know who was in the vehicle behind me, and it scared me because I was afraid that it was somebody who wanted to cause harm to the kids. I didn't know who else they had been with. I didn't know what the circumstances were. I didn't know who might be after them. So I put my car in gear, and I don't think I move it. If I move it at all, it's, 10 feet.
Right.
Because when I did that, it was a Presidio County Sheriff's deputy, and he put his lights on, so that's when I immediately stopped.
So they put on the sirens, you stop the car. What happens next?
A sheriff's deputy that I know from Presidio County comes to the window.
You knew who he was?
Yes. He looked in the car, and I said, Mitch, we need to help these kids. The young woman is very sick, and she needs some help, and we need to help them. And he said, where are they from? And I said, they're from Guatemala. What can we do to help? He says, they're not kids, Teresa. Right. I said, yes, they are, Mitch. And one is very, very sick, and we really need to help her. He said, well, do those backpacks smell like dope? Do they smell like dope, Teresa? And I said, no, Mitch, they smell like exhausted, sick, hungry, thirsty kids. That's what they smell like, and they need some help. And he said, I'm calling the Border Patrol to come get them. Border Patrol came up and asked us to all get out of the car. They just asked me to stand by my car. They took the kids and went through their backpacks and had them sit down in the bar ditch and basically just started processing them. They asked me to come to the back of the car, and they started reading me my rights.
This is Border Patrol or the sheriff?
This is the Border Patrol.
Uh-huh.
And I said, what are you doing? Why are you Mirandizing me? The supervisor who was administering the warnings said, I'm going to finish the warnings and then I'll tell you. I said, are you charging me with something? And he said, once I get through the warnings, then I'll talk to you about it. So he went through all of the Miranda warnings. He asked me if I understood my rights. I said that I did. And then I said, well, what is this about? I don't understand. And he said, you are being charged with transporting illegal aliens. You're going to come down to the station with us and we're going to have your car towed. I said, I'm happy to follow you to the station. And they said, no, we'll be taking you. And I said, what if I don't want to go? And they said, you don't have a choice. You're coming with us right now. So they put me in the back of the Border Patrol vehicle and we went to the station. At that point, I walked in and I had my purse and my stuff. When I walked in, the gentleman that was working at the front said, oh, are you the driver? And I said, no, I'm the woman who stopped to help these kids. I don't know what you're talking about. They're all acting like and treating me like I'm an alien smuggler. Right. And I am just incredulous. I'm like, what is going on here?
Right.
So they say, hey, take your jewelry off and put it in your purse and put your phone in your purse. And we're going to keep your purse right here. And you're going to go into this detention cell. So I see a restroom that's over across the room. And I said, excuse me, may I please use the restroom before we do this? And they said, no, you can't use that restroom. You need to use the one in the cell when we put you in there. So they put me in the cell. I'm the only person in it. And I'm in there for about 45 minutes. They tell me that a female agent is going to come and search me. So about 45 minutes later, a female agent comes to the door, and I assume that's what she's there for. And she says to me, hey, we need you to come out here. We need this holding cell for the kids.
Did they give any medical treatment to these kids?
They had given them some sandwiches and some water, but she had not received any medical attention. They have me sit outside by a desk. Another agent comes by and I say, excuse me, may I just use that restroom right there? And he goes, well, of course you can. Just go right use it. And I was like, okay. And then they put the siblings in the cell, and I continue to say, hey, she needs to get some medical care. Finally, they tell me that the supervisor is going to come ask me some questions. They say he's running late because he is arranging for transport for Esmeralda to the hospital.
How long were you in detention?
From the side of the road to when I got back to my car was about 3.5 hours.
You were held, sounds to me, unlawfully for 3.5 hours for helping children on the side of a road who were sick. And
Yes.
all right, so now when you were released, did they give you any paperwork? Did they say, thanks, have a good day? Did they say sorry? Did they just say you're free to go? What happened? How did you get released?
The supervisor and another agent came and said, there's going to be an investigation. We're going to take you back to your car now. And you know what? It's not safe for you to pick people up on the side of the road.
So is it over? Are you being charged with a crime?
I have not had an interview with the investigators. There was one scheduled that I had to cancel. There was one schedule that they had to cancel. They had a search warrant. They came in with a search warrant. It was just my phone. They didn't issue a search warrant for my house. They also seized my friend's phone, who is the sector counsel for the Border Patrol, as if she and I were in a conspiracy.
Right. What do you think of everything that happened?
It's a sad state of affairs when folks who are trying to help those in need are investigated and prosecuted. It's not what we stand for as a nation, and it is extremely troubling. The idea that doing what's right to help another person makes you an alien smuggler, I can't even wrap my head around it. We are all raised to help those in need.
I think it's like a law of nature to help people. It's a law of God to help people. You know, not to help somebody is unethical and immoral, regardless of what the law says.
I know that Esmeralda, Carlos and Francisco, the two brothers, they were held to be material witnesses against me. Their testimony was not favorable to the government. It's my understanding that that night, Carlos and Francisco were given papers that were in English while they're exhausted, starving, thirsty, and they signed those papers. They didn't understand them, and they basically agreed to deportation. We need to right that wrong.
Now, I also understand that you're going to receive a humanitarian award from the Annunciation House in El Paso, Texas in June. What is this award, and tell me what it means to you?
I cannot believe it is happening. This is an amazing organization. The idea that this organization would honor me for an instinctive move on the side of the road, I'm so humbled, and I can't really believe that it's happening.
Well, Teresa, thank you very much for coming on. I'm sorry that we had to meet because you went through this situation. It's terrible. Nobody should go through this situation because they tried to help another human being. All right?
Hey, thanks so
All
much.
right,
I really enjoyed this.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so a couple things. Number one, I'm not representing anybody in this story whatsoever, but I did give advice that she should have. She was held unlawfully, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
It was illegal detention by the government of a U.S. citizen, and Border Patrol, as far as I'm aware, would have no right to hold her because she wasn't coming across the border. She was in America.
Right.
Now, I suggested to her that she should file a Federal Tort Claims Act for unlawful detention for that 3.5, 4 hours. It's like filing because somebody got into a car accident for money. And you could also file a Bivens Act against the particular officer that was brutal to her and threw her in the jail.
Good.
Mitch was his name.
Mitch the.
Yes. So I suggested both because you could sue individually immigration officers if they violate your rights. Now, why? Because maybe it'll give them second pause to ever do it again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because now it goes on their record that they got sued. If they lose their job, they're going to lose their pension.
Oh wow.
And then they're going to have sleepless nights. Somebody just sued me. I'm personally liable.
Yeah.
Right. And you are.
Right.
You are personally
Right.
liable for this woman's case.
You know Kevin Hart made up that word Mitch. You know what that means?
No.
Go ahead.
It's a man bitch.
Man bitch. Well, that's why that's my perfect name. And as far as Kimberly Van Werben, I believe, was saying, well, why did these kids ever leave Central America? They should have just stayed there.
Right.
Why would you risk your life to come here? They were 22, 20, and 18. The one who was sick, who was on the side of the road, was 18 years old. Now, they originally fled from El Salvador because of gang violence and then made it to Guatemala when they were teenagers.
Oh my God.
Okay, so then when they made it to Guatemala, the gang violence kind of followed them there. 2 of the boys' friends were murdered by gangs in their neighborhood that they were living, and they weren't even living in their country. They were El Salvadorans living in Guatemala.
Right.
So they weren't native to that country or
Right.
citizens of that country. And then the gang leader of that town wanted the girl who was 18 to be the girlfriend. You know, and you know what happens with gang leaders when you say no to them.
Oh,
They'll
you don't
rape
say
you.
no.
They'll rape you. They'll kill you.
Right.
They'll rape you several times and then kill you, kill your brother too. So they had to escape again.
Right.
So when you say why do people risk their life to come here? You can't imagine how bad it is where they are that they're willing to risk their life to be here.
Exactly.
All right. Social media check-in.
All right, what are we doing today?
All right, we're going to do 25 questions in 5 minutes. Julian, the TriCaster guy, take the wire out of the formaldehyde. My brain will not go in there.
Not anytime
Not
soon.
anytime soon. And put 5 minutes on the clock, please.
Oh my goodness.
Do we have 5 minutes on the clock?
25 in 5 minutes.
We can do this. We can do
Keep
this.
talking.
Stretching.
Keep stretching. Keep talking. We'll eventually get it. It's coming. He has to count. He has to count 1 minute.
That's fancy.
Very fancy.
We got it on the screen.
Yes, very, very. What? No, wait.
Let's get to the 5
5 minutes.
Yeah. Ooh, giving me an extra 2 seconds. I like it.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, now Julia, the TriCaster guy. On Kim's first word, 25 questions in 5 minutes. Are you ready, Jonathan?
I'm ready.
No. Kim, don't say anything yet because he's going to start the clock. Don't ask extra questions and extra comments.
Don't answer extra comments.
Now, okay, I'm going to make a rule. If I don't understand the question, instead of asking me, because we're going to skip it, I'm going to say pass. This is going to be like the $25,000 pyramid. You know, like when they have the clock running?
How many passes do you get?
How many passes should I get?
You get 0 passes.
I don't get any passes.
But
what happens? But what happens if they ask a question that makes no sense? I gotta answer it anyway.
Yeah, answer it the best you can. It's part of the game, Brad. We gotta ask it the best we can.
All right, you ready?
I want to know.
No pass.
Brad Squad, do you guys think that we could do 25 and 5? I want to know. Let us know in the comments right now.
All right, ready? Go.
Barb said if a U.S. citizen sponsored his mom, how long will it take to get her here? Mom's a widower and from Pakistan. And is there a difference between the rights of birthright and naturalized citizens?
No difference in birthright and naturalization. And from Pakistan, you're probably looking at close to 2 years or longer.
The weekday, how long after I file I-824 for my son in Jamaica it takes for him to come here? I got my green card through VAWA.
6 months for an I-824, and then you got to get to the National Visa Center, which is another 6 months, so it's 1 year.
Oscar said, is the adjustment of status still processing last in, first out?
Yes.
And if so, how long will it take for my mom since I'm about to file for adjustment under 245I?
Should be 6 months.
5-star chick. My sister is here on a B2 visa, which expired 2 years ago. She wants to study nursing. How can she go and adjust her status?
We already asked that in our social media check-in. She can't. She has to get a green card.
Jemima said, is there any limitations in filing for your siblings?
Yes, they have to be, you have to share a mother and father. or at least a mother or a father that you had a relationship with.
LV says just wants to ask, I-130 approval at USCIS would be affected if my petitioner file a re-entry permit. Priority date May 2019 under F2A.
No, they can file a re-entry permit, but you have to be coming back to live with them together. So once you get your green card, he has to be back here and not still in another country on his re-entry permit.
Giovanna said, can a naturalized U.S. citizen get deported?
No.
Forgive says, I adjusted my question from yesterday about how long will divorce take and legal status be sorted out if someone was married in another country but in the USA and have overstayed their visa?
Depends what state. Like in New York, it could be 6 months for a divorce, and then you would have to get married the next day and file an adjustment, and that's anywhere from 6 to 18 months.
Apple said, how effective is the I-864 affidavit of support because my husband divorced me after less than a month of filing a restraining order on him. I only have a conditional green card.
How effective? You can take them to court and enforce it.
Vivian says, I want to know when I should file to remove my husband condition that is due March 2nd, 2020.
3 months before March 2nd, 2020.
Shango said, after your InfoPass appointment for your EOIR granted affidavit of support, when can you expect to adjustment of status? When can you expect to get your card in the mail?
It should be for 12 to 18 months. 12 to 18 weeks, excuse me.
Samuel wants to know, how long will a mandamus take?
Weeks.
GT said, I'm looking to file an H-1B extension. The USCIS case status said the EAD card was being produced. It started a new project on June 24th under H-1B. Should I file an H-1B extension or work on the work permit for the petitioning employer?
Well, if you get the work permit, you don't need the H-1B extension. But if you don't have the work permit yet, you need to prove you're legal to work. You would file the H-1B extension because as soon as immigration receives it, you're legal to work.
And if I work with the EAD with the employer, can I switch to any new employer?
Yes, you can.
Barbara says, Anne says, hello, I'm here on B2 visa because my mom has a medical condition. Can I extend my visa?
Yes.
Sorry. Safi said, I have an I-360 pending since 2016, and an I-360 is not yet approved, but they keep on sending me an EAD. What should I do now?
Either file a mandamus or wait for the approval.
Mohammed says, I'm an international student on an F1 visa, but from Pakistan. My wife is a U.S. citizen and mass health insurance. Can we AOS from F1 visa as my wife is on mass health? And
yes, you can. He called on the phone.
Does the current situation?
You can.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
Kesha said, once my EAD card is approved, can I begin to work without the physical card on an F1 visa?
You would need the card to show your employer.
Tayo says, I have a marriage case I-485 pending since May 16, 2017, and my EAD was renewed second time. My local file office is Philadelphia. What should I do now?
Call a good lawyer. Me. You probably need a mandamus.
Jawad said, any DACA updates?
No.
Darnett said, when you file I-130, is the receipt different from the approval?
Yes.
Lamoni said, I'm doing a U visa and I've been waiting. I did a work authorization on my own last June and I heard nothing. Why do you think that is?
Since last June, you haven't gotten a work permit because you probably screwed up the application.
Cam Evans says, how long can a 1-year-old born citizen stay out of the country for?
Forever. Just make sure you got a passport for that child before.
Okay, so if the child is out of the country for 1 year, is there implication upon returning?
No.
Sherry said, I received a notice saying that they are ready to schedule my I-485 for an interview, but I haven't received my work permit, and I filed in January.
That's great. You'll get an interview soon, and you'll get a work permit in about 3 months.
Look at that.
Keep going.
Betty Boo says,
Keep
how
going.
long does it take for a permanent resident spouse to get their work permit if they're in the U.S.?
About 6 to 8 months.
Yes!
We did it! We stopped the bomb!
Stop the bomb!
Oh, thank God.
Oh my God.
We did it.
Man, that bomb really put my...
Right,
yes.
I saw that. I was like, woo!
Oh my God.
We gotta have like a sound that goes...
Yeah, we need a sound or something that gets louder and louder.
Oh,
I gotta be real.
Put more pressure on us.
Yes.
I lost count there for a second, so while we were doing that, I had to text Jilly Bean and be like, how many is that? What are we at right now? I've got no idea.
All right. Comments of the day. Boy, Julian, what's out of here? You didn't even wait for me to say it. All right, what do we got?
Our first comment of the day is from First Lady USA. I swear I'm always ready to answer some of these questions right away for Brad. Thank you for my immigrationologist for making me immigration smart.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Aww.
Boom.
They send it to me right now.
Jonathan
It just pops
received
up.
his comment of the day.
Our second comment of the day comes from Jessica Limi Joel on Facebook saying, I hope I'm always home Monday through Friday at 5:30-ish p.m. because I don't know what I would do without my favorite show, and it's on, and I can't interact.
Yay, thank you.
I like that 5:30-ish.
That's our time. It's 5:30-ish.
She knew.
She knows.
And finally, we've got one from Kay Ann Foster who said, I love that you guys are helping so many people with information.
Oh,
very nice.
Yeah.
Very
Thank
nice. All right, well, thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow's Pop-Up Friday, so we're going to come a little earlier and just be a little more cash, but we'll see you then. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK. 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?